The palace had grown quiet that night, too quiet for a kingdom that never slept. Even the desert winds seemed to hold their breath as Sheikh Hamdan stepped into the great hall, his shadow stretching across the marble floor like a secret refusing to stay hidden. Those who saw him sensed something different in his stride, an unusual heaviness, a quiet storm gathering behind his calm eyes. No one knew that within the next few minutes, he would speak words powerful enough to shake the very foundations of the royal walls. The advisors stood in a semicircle, confused by the urgency with which he had summoned them. His brothers watched silently, uncertain whether he would reveal a political decision, a national announcement, or something far more personal. But the truth was far more explosive than anyone imagined. He didn't sit on the throne. He didn't wait for ceremony. He simply stood in the center of the hall, breathing deeply, as though preparing to walk through fire. When he finally spoke, his voice held the weight of 1,000 unspoken months. He admitted that he had been living with a truth he could no longer bury, a truth that had changed him, guided him, and threatened to consume him from within. The room stiffened. His words were not delivered with hesitation, they fell with the precision of a blade. Everyone listened, unable to blink. He confessed that for years he had worn a mask carved perfectly for the world, a mask polished by expectations and royal customs. Behind that mask lived a man battling choices the public would never see. He had made a decision in silence, carrying its consequences alone. But tonight, he was done carrying anything quietly. Tonight, the real Fazza, the man, not the prince, was ready to speak. He revealed that he had loved someone in a way he wasn't supposed to, someone the world would never accept, someone whose existence had reshaped his soul. It wasn't a scandal of impulse or fleeting desire, it was a connection so deep that his poems could only scratch its surface. He admitted that he had sacrificed that love for the kingdom's peace, pretending loyalty to tradition while his heart mourned in shadows. Gasps filled the hall, echoing against the high ceilings like shattered glass. But the shock didn't end there. Sheikh Hamdan revealed that he had been planning to step away from certain royal duties, responsibilities that had defined him since childhood. His confession wasn't about scandal, it was about reclaiming the humanity he had long buried beneath honor and obligation. His truth was raw. It was dangerous. It was liberating. And it left the hall trembling. He spoke of nights where silence broke him, where he felt trapped between two worlds, one that demanded obedience and one that whispered freedom. He confessed how he wrote poems no one would ever see, how he walked the desert at dawn searching for clarity, how the crown sometimes felt heavier than his heartbeat itself. This was not a prince speaking, this was a man wrestling with destiny. Then came the confession that truly unhinged the room. He had already made a choice without asking permission. A choice that would alter the kingdom's future. A choice rooted not in rebellion, but in truth. His voice didn't crack. It didn't tremble. It carried a shocking certainty that no royal decree could silence. For the first time, he admitted he was choosing his own path over the one carved for him. He revealed he would begin stepping into a life where purpose was not defined by title, but by authenticity. He would still serve his people, but from a different angle, stripped of pretense, stripped of the glittering lie of perfection. The revelation left even the strongest men breathless. The kingdom had never seen a prince speak with such naked honesty, such rebellious clarity wrapped in grace. And as he turned toward the exit, the hall remained frozen in awe. His steps were lighter now, not because the consequences had vanished, but because he had finally told the truth the world wasn't ready to hear. A confession that didn't just change him, it changed everything around him. He didn't apologize for his confession. The next morning, the kingdom awoke to whispers that moved faster than the sunrise. Every corridor of the palace buzzed with fragments of his confession, some true, some twisted, all electrified. People spoke of him with a mix of disbelief and awe, as though the prince they had always admired had suddenly stepped out of a myth and into reality. Yet beyond the rumors, there was an undercurrent of something new in the air: courage. If a man as bound by duty as Sheikh Hamdan could speak such truth, what did that mean for everyone else living behind quiet fears? Meanwhile, inside his private chambers, the consequences he anticipated began knocking one by one. Officials wanted clarification, elders sought reassurance, and some demanded explanations he refused to give. Not out of rebellion, but because he was tired of justifying the beating of his own heart. He realized that telling the truth didn't just set him free, it forced the world to confront its own shadows. And he was prepared to face the storm that followed, no matter how relentless. As the day unfolded, he stepped outside to meet his people. Their reactions stunned him. Instead of judgment, he found eyes filled with respect, deep, unfiltered respect. Some bowed lower than usual, not out of formality, but because they finally saw the human beneath the title. Mothers whispered blessings under their breath, young men watched him with newfound admiration, and elders nodded as though his confession had unlocked a truth they had long known but never dared to say aloud. He realized that his vulnerability had not weakened him, it had strengthened the bond between him and the very kingdom he feared disappointing. By sunset, the royal family gathered privately, each carrying a different storm within. Some were angry, some confused, some quietly proud. But Sheikh Hamdan stood firm, meeting every gaze with unshaken calm. He didn't argue, didn't retreat, didn't allow their discomfort to sway him. He simply reaffirmed the truth he had spoken the night before. And for the first time, the room felt less like a battlefield and more like a space where generations were finally confronting what had been ignored for too long. Later that night, he returned to the desert, the only place where he could listen to the world without it talking back. As he looked across the endless stretch of sand, he felt the gravity of what he had set in motion. His confession was no longer just a moment, it had become a turning point. A spark. A recalibration of how a leader should exist. In the quiet expanse, he realized that honesty had cost him comfort, but it had given him something far greater, a life he could finally claim as his own. She became the ghost in his unwritten poems, the